welcome to HANSA.newscast, Ville Paakkari. Did I pronounce it
Thank
correctly, by the
you.
way?
Yes.
Sorry
Thanks for having me.
You are head of R&D at Norsepower, a company bringing wind back to shipping, but with a modern twist. So, Ville, what do you enjoy most about working with wind propulsion and this technology in particular?
Wow, that's a big question for sure. Yeah, I'm a naval architect by training. I started my studies and my, let's say, professional life as within the aerospace industry, and I find some. This may sound weird, but I find some intrinsic beauty and aesthetics in aerodynamics. So I just love working within that domain, that field. And the second thing is that, as I see it, we are facing a transition, which is probably the biggest since the development and deployment of diesel engine. And for me, it's super fascinating, super exciting to be part of this transition and to be able to contribute to that.
Yeah, Norsepower rotor sails are already in use on many vessels. What do you think has really driven this popularity?
I'd say it's much thanks to the innovation and really the relentless hard work of highly skilled team we have at Norsepower. Be it in the mechanics, be it in the production design, software, AI recently. The whole Norsepower team is continuously pushing the boundaries and let's say advancing the field very rapidly. Kind of proof of that commitment to development is the 60 or more patents we have already, and really the strong drive for development. We were also the first company in this market, and since those very early days we have been, as said, trying to push the boundaries to support the business of our customers. So we don't want to do development for the sake of development, but to support the business of our customers.
So, how much has regulation played a role in this?
Regulation is playing a very important role. But I would also say that the role of regulation is changing quite a bit. What I mean is that we see a big change in the regulation itself. If we go still back a couple of years, the regulation wasn't, at least to my eyes, it wasn't really driving business. It was perhaps more informing the stakeholders that, okay, this is what the regulators would like to see, but it wasn't really affecting business decisions. However, now with FuelEU Maritime, with EU ETS, and now most recently the global fuel standard from IMO, we see that these instruments are becoming something that actually affects the business case. And this is a change we already see in our order books. So during the past year or so, we doubled the installed capacity, what we have out there sailing, and the current order backlog is going to do the same. So we have already confirmed orders for doubling the number of ships and even more than doubling the number of sails. To meet this demand, we started last year a new factory in China. We also entered a memorandum of understanding with COSCO Shipping to really be able to meet the growing demand. Then if we talk about the role of innovation and regulation, to me that is a bit kind of twofold question. So there, first of all, we see when there's an increasing demand and when the business is kind of accelerating, that drives innovation because there are more players, there's more everything. But the second thing is perhaps a bit more subtle, and that is, let's say, the type of the exact regulation we are seeing is affecting the type of innovation we are doing. What I mean by this is, for example, the FuelEU Maritime versus the IMO GFS. The other one, FuelEU Maritime, is treating wind propulsion as kind of theoretical approach, while the GFS is more operational, true performance matters type of a regulation. So there we can see that it's more likely that FuelEU Maritime is driving innovation to improve this theoretical index, while the GFS is more likely to drive innovation related to true performance and true operational improvements. So for me, it's really important that the regulation is supporting the right kind of behavior and right kind of actions across the sector.
Are you able to support on shaping these regulations?
To an extent, yes. So we are actively participating in various, let's say, working groups and providing our insights to regulators and to whoever is interested in. But obviously we are a small player, or like relatively small player. So there is a lot happening in the shipping all the time. So we do what we can. Let's say.
Yeah. So there is a feedback loop, and that fits with the next question, because you often team up with others, like research group, pilot project partnerships. So how central is this to how you work in R&D?
It's really crucial because partnerships and having that external output, if you like, it sort of makes sure that we are solving the right kind of problems. What I mentioned about not doing development for the sake of development, but actually trying to improve the business of our customers, partnerships are crucial in that. Also, it helps us to, let's say, benefit from the knowledge outside of the team of Norsepower. We have highly skilled team, but we don't know everything. So it's good to have the feedback from the outside. Yeah. We work with the industry leaders to all the time find these win-win situations. One good example is the long collaboration we have had with Napa. For example, most recently with weather routing. So when weather routing is a great technology, wind propulsion is great technology, but when you put those together, you get even better. It's a win-win. Perhaps something I would also like to mention is what we are really proud of is the collaboration we do with our customers. So many of our customers are really front runners, trailblazers in the industry. Just to name a few, Sea Cargo, LDA, Oldendorf, and Eno. With all of those companies, we have had really impactful and meaningful research and development collaboration. So we are extremely proud of that and extremely thankful and grateful for those companies for that.
Yeah. So now, of course, I get curious because let's make it tangible in regards to results. So what savings are we seeing in the real world? And what influenced them? I think you mentioned a bit with following the wind and where it is, but
So when talking about the results, I think it's super important to keep in mind that this is first and foremost a capacity question. What I mean is that unlike some, for example, energy saving devices, which perhaps have a more fixed, for example, percentage that, okay, you save always X% or whatever. With wind propulsion, it really depends on how much did you install wind propulsion in the first place. Sounds obvious, but it often, this is a bit of a misconception often. So that as a let's say backdrop, if we talk about the results, we have results ranging from 8% fuel savings on a LR tanker 7 to 10% fuel saving or propulsion power savings on a RoPax vessel, all the way to 20 to 25% on a Rotor ship. So we are talking about really significant performance. Measuring this is a challenge, or it has been a challenge, and to overcome this, we have first of all deployed multiple successful third-party validation campaigns to prove that okay, what we anticipated matched the reality. And also we have been developing our own measuring and monitoring system, which we call the Norsepower True Performance, just to address this specific question: how much exactly am I saving at any given time?
Yeah, sounds really transparent, and it makes sense for the customer to see, the return of investments. But let's look forward to the future. What's next for Rotor Sail Technology, and what's on your radar?
Yes, what's next and what's on the forecasting and looking into future, it's always a very, very dangerous business. It's the perfect opportunity to make fool of oneself. So that in mind, I'm ready to play this game a little. What we see is that the ambitious projects are getting more and more ambitious all the time when it comes to how much wind propulsion can we install on a single ship. To put this a bit more concrete, if we look at the let's say Roro ship segment, when we started with our first installation, it was a Roro ship where we installed 6% of wind propulsion. Couple of years later, one of our customers installed, we're talking about 20 to 25% on average wind propulsion on a ship. So that was already making huge waves. That was actually the company I mentioned, Sea Cargo, already earlier. So we went from 6 to 20, 25%. And what we have now in the order backlog is a series of ships where the wind propulsion will contribute to more than 40% of the propulsion. So what that means is that we see ever growing trend in how much can be done with wind propulsion. And coming from a guy who works within the R&D, I don't see why we would stop there. I don't see why we saw the end of the history right now. So I think that share is going to only grow. So to me, there is a very plausible scenario in which wind propulsion altogether would be responsible for cutting the emissions of the shipping by 30% or so. So really a cornerstone of the decarbonization challenge in the shipping industry. If we combine this with the lowering speeds, which we are probably going to see because of the new regulation, new energy sources being more expensive, this can mean that the wind propulsion in future is actually the dominant way of propulsion for the global shipping. So that's what I started with, saying that there's this is possibly the biggest transition since the diesel engine. If we go back to wind propulsion and having wind propulsion as kind of the primary mover, that's a huge transition.
Yeah, it's really impressive, and it sounds like it's moving forward really fast.
Indeed. We are, as said, we are pretty much doubling every year the capacity.
Wow. Ville, thanks a lot for this really interesting insights on new technology and also how it's adapted and accepted by the ship owners.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to HANSA.newscast. Make sure to subscribe and join us again for more maritime insights and stories. You can also visit our homepage, HANSA.news, and sign up for our HANSA newsletter. Thank you, and see you in the next episode.